Hello, hello, hello. I'm really glad that you came in to see me today. You're here for some help with applying for jobs, writing your resume, conducting a successful interview. Is that right? Okay, perfect. In that case, you have come to the right place. I would love to help you with that. Okay? So, first we'll tackle some tips for writing your resume. And then we'll tackle some interviewing tips. How to answer a few common questions and some questions that you should be asking, as well as how to close the interview in a way that makes you stand out and makes them remember you. Okay? So, when you're writing your resume, there are some best kept secrets when it comes to writing an impressive resume. And the first thing that I would like to do with you today is to share those tips and secrets with you. So, to start off, overall, there are a few elements that your resume should have if you're trying to achieve a great resume, which I know that you are. So you'll just want to keep these in mind as you work on writing your resume. And if you need help writing it, then I'm here for you with that as well. Okay? So the first tip I have is that your resume should have one page and one page only. Okay? Some people may think it's better for your resume to go onto 2 pages so that you can provide more impressive details about yourself and your experience. And some people don't want to cut out some relevant experience to make it fit on one page. But the reality is, most employers will not even look at resumes that are on 2 pages. They want to know that you can be concise, and they want to know that you are efficient. So keep your resume to 1 page maximum. You can mess with the margins a bit if you want. Just make sure that it's clearly legible, easy to understand, not too much going on, and not too overwhelming, because you want to stand out in a good way, not just by having the most words on your resume. You should also be sure to have headers. Section headers for your past experience, your skills, your contact information, etc. And you want to have a clean looking format that's easy to understand and read, as I said before. So you can incorporate color if you want to help you stand out, but I would caution that you should be careful with this, because you want to make sure that it still looks professional and it's still easy to read. So just make sure, if you are adding color, that you're doing so tastefully. The next thing that your resume should have is a summary of your qualifications. don't forget this part, because many employers and interviewers will only have time to look at the summary section of your resume and they won't have time to read it in detail. So you want to make sure that you're hitting those high points in the summary, just in case that's all they're looking at. Then you want to make sure that you include your past experience that's relevant to this position that you're applying for, including some action words and your technical skills, okay? I will share some action words with you. You want to include some information on things that you have been able to achieve in some of your past roles as well, along with some data and some metrics to back up those achievements. One other resume tip that I have for you is in Microsoft Word, if you click on the Review tab at the top and click on CV Assistant, it will bring up a number of different roles. So for example, if you click on Managing Editor, you can select an industry, for example, information technology and services, and it will give you some really great specific examples of skills and experience points to include in your resume for that position. So now I'm going to give you some examples of words that are commonly found in resumes that can be replaced for some stronger words. And these words will probably be seen less often and therefore will help you stand out against other candidates. Okay? So the first word is responsible. Responsible, responsible. So this is a really common word. People saying that they were responsible for something. We see that all the time. So here are a few stronger, less common words that will help you stand out. Collaborated on. So instead of you're responsible for a project, you collaborated on a project. You coordinated a project. You executed a project. You maximized efficiency. You produced, and you implemented. Okay? So those are some really strong words that will help you stand out against a backdrop of other candidates who are all saying that they were responsible for something. The next one is familiar. So people say that they're familiar with things like Excel a lot. You may not be an expert, but you could use the words agile or proficient instead of familiar. And the next word is people-oriented. People-oriented. So what you really might mean when you say that you're people-oriented is that you helped build relationships with people. Some words that you can use to help describe that a little bit better are cultivated, fostered, supervised, directed, and trained. Okay? And the next one is hardworking. You may be very hardworking and you may be a very hard worker, but everyone else is also going to say that they are a hard worker. So what you can say some words to describe yourself that might help you stand out a little bit are distinguished, passionate, proactive, versatile, and savvy. Okay? And the last one is assisted. So a lot of people will say in their resume that they assisted on a project or they assisted a manager with such and such. So some stronger words that you can use for that are customized, clarified, facilitated, and executed. Okay? So I hope that those help. You might just want to keep those in mind when you're writing your resume. And as I said before, I can help you with that as well. Okay? So, do you have any other questions on resume writing? Not for right now. Okay? We can come back to it at any time, okay? Alright. So we'll move on to some interview tips. And the first thing that I wanted to share with you is a list of common questions that are asked in interviews that are sometimes really difficult to answer. And I wanted to provide you with a few examples of how you could answer these questions in a way that will make you stand out as a strong candidate for the position that you're looking for. So the first question that gets asked a lot in interviews is, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. And sometimes it's hard to know what they really mean. Are they asking about your hobbies or your family or where you grew up? And these are things that might be okay to touch on. But the most relevant and important information that this recruiter or interviewer is looking for is, tell me about yourself relevant to this position that you're applying for. Okay? So a good way that you could answer this is to first share a little bit about your professional background and where you've worked before, positions you've had, and this is a good place to maybe add where you've lived in the past and where you've worked in those locations and how long that you've worked there, etc. Then you can talk a little bit about your skills and your expertise in certain areas, your achievements, things you've accomplished, and anything that you think will make you stand out when it comes to this position. Okay? Then you should share why you really want the job. Maybe you're looking for a new challenge. Maybe you're excited about moving and transitioning into a new industry. Whatever it may be, explain how you've been able to be successful in the past, in your past roles, and also why you're excited to move into this current role. Another question that we tend to see a lot is, what are your weaknesses? And this can be a really tough question to answer because you don't want to make yourself look like a poor candidate or like someone who is not going to excel at this job. So you have to be careful how you word it. The best tip is to be honest, but don't be too hard on yourself, and to always make sure to include how you're working on your weaknesses currently, and if you've made any progress, to make sure to share that. So you might say, if you're a slow worker, I'm really detail oriented and meticulous, so I can really work on managing my time, and sometimes I actually spend too much time on certain projects. However, I'm already working on this by creating a schedule and a timeline, and this has really helped me to stick to the timelines that I have for certain projects. So again, make sure that you throw in the ways that you're already working on your weaknesses. For me, I might say a personal weakness of mine is that I can be quite passive and sometimes afraid to speak up if I feel that there might be a more efficient way to do something. I am afraid to rock the boat. I don't want to upset anyone, but this is definitely something that I can work on. And I might say that I'm currently working on building relationships with those around me, my coworkers, becoming more comfortable with them, and reminding myself that these people probably do appreciate my input, and they would probably rather me say something than say nothing. So, and I might say that I have, over the time that I've spent with my previous employers, I have been able to improve this a great deal, but I still have a way to go. Another question that you might see is, why did you leave your current or previous employer? And the interviewer will want to make sure that you're not about to do the same thing to them, that you're not flaky, get bored easily, etc. So what you can say is that you can state how long you've been with your current employer, and this could really help if you have been there a significant length of time. So you might say, I've been with my current employer for over 5 years, and in that time I have had the opportunity to evaluate the organization's internal structure and evaluate my own goals and how they align. And I found that this organization at this time does not align with my personal, professional development, growth, and goals. And through my research into organizations with more resources that can provide me with the growth opportunities that I'm looking for, I came across your organization, which is at the top of my list. And that is a great response. If you do end up getting that question, obviously tweak it to your personal situation, but that's something that will hopefully not scare your employer away. And another question that we see a lot is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And a lot of times this question will be asked because the interviewer wants to make sure that you're not going to get bored quickly in the position, and so there just could be some misinterpretation there that you might need to change quickly, etc. So to avoid any of that, talk about your eagerness to learn about the industry or the company, and your goals that don't relate to your specific job. Like, don't say that you're looking for a promotion, but you could say, I'm excited to work on bigger projects, and you can talk about your goals that, such as, I want to be the go-to person in the company with X skill set. So next I'm going to help you with some questions that you should ask at the end of an interview. I'll just give you a few ideas. At the end of the day, the interview is a two-way street. The employer is interviewing you and you are interviewing them because they want to make sure that you're a good fit for the organization, but you obviously as well want to make sure that the organization is a good fit for you. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and they can actually really help you stand out from those who don't ask any questions. So some questions that you should ask to stand out in an interview include: what makes your best employee stand out to you? Or what qualities does your best employee have? You could also ask, what is your vision for the company? They'll like to know that you care about the visions and goals and future position of the company. You can ask, what are your expectations and goals for the employee in this position during the first 3 months or X amount of time? And this will help you to determine what they're expecting of you, if that sounds like something that you're interested in. And it can also help you get on the same level so that you don't feel like you're underperforming or overperforming. You could also ask, is there anything that I can do to improve my skill set for this position? And along the lines of this are 2 more questions that I have. They're all kind of asking the interviewer what you can do and where is the gap between where you are now and where you need to be. In this case, they'll probably either tell you or admit that you are the right person for the job. So another question you can ask is there anything about me that you're unsure about? I'd like to address any concerns that you may have right now. And then this will force them to tell you if there's anything that's not perfect about you, and you can address it and hopefully clear their concerns. Or they will say, no, I'm not unsure at all. I think that you're the perfect candidate. And along the same lines as that again, you can ask, do you have any hesitations about my ability to fill this role? And they will either say, yes, here's what you need to do, and again, you can address it. Or they'll say, no, I don't. You're actually perfect for the job. So those are some good questions to ask. Obviously, as well, ask anything that you're interested in about the industry, the organization, or the position itself. Then, finally, at the end of the interview, you want to close in a way that will help them remember you. So an example of something you can say at the end is this: thank you so much for your time today. Thank them for their time. I'm really impressed by what I saw here today. It's very clear to me that the people who work here are of such a high caliber with such great work ethic and a commitment to excellence. So compliment the organization and the job well done that they're already doing. And then you can say, I would love to be a part of this group. In fact, it would be an honor to be a part of this group. And express your eagerness to get the position and that will also show that you are willing and excited to fit in with the others at the organization, because that is often one of the biggest things that they're looking for is your personality going to fit with everyone else. So expressing that you think that you really align with those who work there and that you're really eager to get to know them, that will go a long way in making the interviewer feel that you are the right personality fit for the job. All right? Okay, so those are the tips that I have for you today. Do you have any questions? No? Alright, well, as I mentioned before, I'm always here for you to help you write your resume. We can do mock interviews, whatever you think will help. That's what I'm here for, okay? Okay, perfect. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I know you're going to do really, really well. And please let me know if you need help, if you get your position that you're looking for, and I wish you all the success in the world. All right? Thank you so much for coming in today. I'll talk to you soon.